Hello everybody. Welcome to the Talking Stick Show with the movers, shakers, and Quakers, which Quakers? Quakers. Quakers.
Quakers.
I know. Let me introduce everybody here. Laura Massey, are you a mover, shaker, or Quaker?
Oh, I've been all three in my time, and
Ah.
I'll be all three again, I expect.
Yes. Well, introduce yourself and tell us something.
Yes. Okay, sure. I'm Laura Massey from Two Feathers Medicine. Most of you do know me by now. Also part of the new teaching team with David and Amy and Dale and Andrew. And I'm looking forward to this show, especially as Amy and I thought that Quakers meant a certain sect of religion. And not where it actually means shaking in your boots.
Earthquakers. I know, that's so funny because Quakers live around me too. And Dale, tell everybody.
Hello everyone, welcome to this week's show. A lovely joy to be here.
Yes. And David, how are you doing? Are you a mover, shaker, Quaker?
Well, first of all, hello, you magical people. And welcome to another episode of the Talking Stick Show.
Amy's keen.
And so,
you stole my line.
So, am I a mover, shaker, or Quaker? Oh, I don't know. Depending on how the show goes, I might be all three at the end of it.
It might turn into a dance. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? So tell us, David, what do you think about it?
Okay, so when we were coming up with the idea for the show, and we call it Movers, Shakers, and Quakers, it's a categorization of three different types of people, and you may move in between the different types of people in your lifetime. So a mover is people that make shit happen, right? All right. A mover is people who get up, they do things, right? They build stuff, they do things with their lives, they create things. It doesn't really matter what it is. Shakers are people who shake things up. They may be shit stirrers, as in they create problems. They could create problems, but a shit stirrer can also create good things, okay? Because, like, people move things. Martin Luther King was a shaker, right? He shook things up. Mahatma Gandhi, also a shaker, right? Little did he know, years later, he would be a mover as well, right? And then there are the Quakers, and these are the people who quake in their boots. These are not people who live in middle America and wear funny hats and drive horse and buggies. No, these are the people who quake in their boots. They live underneath the internet floorboards. They do not come out. They do not experience life. They stay in little echo chambers. So even if they come out, they're like in little groups and sects where everybody agrees with them, right? And there's no challenge to them, and they feel all safe for themselves. So Quakers need to feel safe and stuff like that. And today we're going to be talking about the movers, the shakers, and the Quakers. Yay!
Mm-hmm. Yay!
Yeah.
Where you want to start?
Let's start with the movers first, I feel. So,
oh God, yeah, go ahead,
Amy. So, what's a mover to you?
Wow, well, always on the move comes to mind. Always trying to invent or reinvent, not reinvent, but invent yourself. Does that make sense? Kind of like,
yes,
not being just satisfied, but always trying to think of the next thing. For me, I would say. Yeah.
And Laura, what does movers mean for you?
For me, a mover wants to push forward the energies, get things going, get things aligned to, just trying to find the right words, get things aligned to the universe, get things going along so we can actually make progress, so we can evolve, so things happen, so things change.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. And David?
A mover is a creative personality that, as Laura said, it moves the energy forward, right? The funny thing about movers, the action is always in the words. So Amy is also correct in the sense that there's always movement, right? There are a lot of people who don't understand the concept of movement. The Japanese have this very interesting little parable: that which does not grow dies. Okay? A lot of people think that they're maintaining, but if you're not moving forward, you're sliding backwards slowly. So a mover is the person that will not only move forward, but the momentum, the inertia will drag everything with it, right? So in your life, it would be a really good idea to befriend some movers, because movers will get you up off your ass and drag you into different places.
And they also tend to embrace change. Sorry, Dale. And
that's
you
exactly
can't resist change. Go on, you go.
Yeah, I was just going to say movers, and it's something I've had to go through on my journey and my process, allowing change to be natural and a normal thing. A lot of people get scared shitless of change. And as soon as something changes big in their life, they're terrified and they maybe go into the Quaker shaker mode. So, yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing: the Shakers are interesting people. They're the midriff. Their intention is not to move energy. Their intention is to unstick energy, and it really does work. They're useful, right? They could be either useful people or useful idiots. Okay. Now, in this year alone, we've had lots of Shakers. So Shakers are not necessarily bad, even when they're trying to be bad. As an example, Andrew and myself and the entire Talking Stick team were attacked sometime earlier this year by Shakers. They thought they were doing something bad, but it re-inspired my creativity. It re-inspired everybody's creativity, and we came back stronger. Yes, we made us stronger. So Shakers are not necessarily a bad thing. When you have a shaker in your life, like that's the kind of person that is going to be the shit stirrer, always doing this, doing that, whatever the case may be. But it's not for any intent that is a good intent or any intent. The point of a shit stirrer is to make a change, right? That's what I.
Sometimes you have to make those changes in order for things to move forward. And you could also, if it was aligned with Great Mystery and Great Spirit and so on, movers and shakers are the peacemakers, because the peacemakers are the ones that come in and have to ruffle the feathers to create the long-term aim of peace.
Isn't that the truth? That is exactly true. I think the thing that defines a shaker is that I feel uncomfortable, so something has got to change. They unstick energies, right? So whether they are useful people or useful idiots, it doesn't really matter, right? They're making changes, and I think in the end, everything works for the good, even when it's initially negative. Okay.
Yeah,
I think you also
blessing in it somewhere.
I also think you have to be aware of the shakers, because if you're not, you're just going to be like, upset with them, or, you're not going to understand, like, oh, I see what they're doing. Ah, okay. Now I know what I need to do.
That's like seeing the bigger picture, though, isn't it? That's getting the eagle eye view and knowing there's always a reason and another layer why something has happened, and not to view something that is on the face of it appears negative, but actually long term could have a very positive effect.
Yeah.
You want to know how I know? Go ahead, Dale.
An example would be being in a relationship and they turn out to be a shaker and they start to shake things up, but coming out of that relationship and realizing the bigger lesson of what it took to get out of there and how different you're going to become from getting rid of the shaker. And I've experienced that myself, getting rid of the shakers out of our life, but they have the purpose, don't they, guys? They have a purpose of a teaching right there.
So David's right, isn't he? We need to surround ourselves with movers and shakers.
Yes.
Here's the thing about it. You want to know when you become developed? When you utilize the shakers, the bad ones and the good ones, and you transmute that energy into happiness and joy. So as an example, right? Let's say there's a shaker in your life, right? And all of us, Laura, Amy, well, Amy, no, you're too happy to
No.
be Laura, Dale, and myself, we all have shaker stuff going on all the time. But when we get on the show, we can laugh about that shit because a lot of the stuff is extremely funny, right? Right? Everybody has a shaker, but it makes you realize some stuff, right? And to be quite honest, a shaker will turn you into a mover real quick.
Yes,
Real quick.
it'll shake
Yeah.
the movement into you.
Well, I have a question then.
Well, go ahead.
I'm looking at the earth. Okay, so like I see, what do the Shakers do for the Quakers? Because if you have the movers, I'm just looking at it as like a shaker's kind of in the middle. It's the middle guy, right? So if you're an if you're a Quaker and you're shaking in your boots and I'm really just saying this for myself, being as a younger person and a younger age, you know, I was definitely a Quaker, right? But there were shakers, and you're kind of like, I don't know what to do with that information that they're giving me, or I don't know why they're stirring the pot. Because I come from a big family, right? So there was a lot of shakers in our family.
So what effect did it have on you with that energy?
It was whew, it comes at you, at least as a young child or teenager, or it comes at you like you don't know what to do with it. So it just swirls around.
But there is a part of us, I think, that can resonate with that energy too, isn't there? There is a subconscious maybe that knows that that's needed.
Yeah.
To grow, to move forward. I'm sure there is a subconscious part of it, maybe as children, that finds that quite exciting.
Well, what about a mover who falls in love with a shaker and likes that?
I have an opinion when that is concerned. I have an opinion when that is concerned. Look, this is how it works in real life. You're a mover, right? Let's say you're moving. You're going to create stuff. You're going to do stuff. And I want everybody in the chat to tell me where I'm wrong, please. When you're a mover, you want to create stuff. You want to move stuff along. You want to create something new, something whatever. There will always be a shaker that will come out of the woodwork and try to latch onto you. In all of our personal dealings, each one of us, all of us wanted to move forward to a certain degree. The universe has a very interesting sense of humor. And I say that tongue in cheek because what it does is, do you really want this? Oh, let me send you a shaker, right? And the shaker's job is going to be that tire around your neck, that tire around your neck that the universe puts around your neck to drag you down. Let me show you how that tire around your neck manifests itself. You fall in love with somebody, or you say you want a business partner or a life partner or whatever else, right? But that person has a whole bunch of fear on board, a whole bunch of trauma on board. That person is going to affect your movement specifically because that person doesn't understand that you are willing to do and sacrifice whatever it takes to get where you are going. Right? And so that person's job is to slow you down and make you understand, do you really want this? Because if you really want this, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to slow you down until you understand that you have to make sacrifices to get where you are going.
So they come to rattle your cage in some ways, don't they?
Correct.
Yeah, they come to, using your favorite word, David, they come to trigger you.
Yep.
In some way. I had to get that in there somewhere.
If you're a mover, you are the train that's on the tracks. The shaker is going to be the person that tries to shake you off those tracks. Right? And funny enough, the shakers come in, the techniques that they use are very interesting. The first technique that they would use is break down the confidence. You will never be able to accomplish that. You can't do this. You can't do that. Right? Some shakers attach themselves to you, saying, I will support you in whatever you do. They'll support you. But really and truly, they just want to slow you down because they have a bunch of fear, trauma, prejudices and stuff like that on board, right? So if you're into business, as an example, a shaker would be the one telling you, don't deal with this person, don't deal with that person, don't deal with the other person, when these people can possibly help you. Okay? Get where you're going.
And you get a lot of, say, in going back to the relationship side of things, you'll be, say, a mover goes in a relationship with a fake mover, and they start thinking they're a mover as they fall in love with them. Then all of a sudden, through the lines, they become the shaker, and you realize what they are at the core, and you have a realization where love has blinded you that they're actually a shaker, not a mover, and you thought you fell in love with a mover, but you didn't.
You just described 90% of the spiritual community. 90%.
Yes.
You just described 90%. 90%. I'm going to ask the people in the chat, how many of y'all have gotten into relationships where you figured that I'm a spiritually minded person, I'm into wellness and health and whatever else, and I just want a life partner that I could grow, expand my consciousness. And so you get into a relationship, you go to the local bar, spiritual bar, you're drinking early enough, nuts or whatever. Right, you go to the local bar, local yoga studio, you pick up the other person who's going to be a life partner, right? And then you realize that they're not at your vibrational level. And so you do the next best thing, which is try to adjust. Okay? You try to adjust. And I'm going to say something that is not going to be nice, like taken very nicely on the show. You try to adjust. You try to say, okay, you know what? Probably we can work this out somewhere, because the truth of the matter is that spiritually minded people are in the minority. You're dealing with 0.001% of the world's population, less than. Okay? Yeah, I'm sorry. In case you guys don't go slitting your wrist yet, there's a silver lining here. Right? It was 0.001% of the world's population. So you're thinking that if I tank this relationship, I'm not going to get someone, right, in my locality, especially if you live, like, I don't know, in Harlem. I don't know where you're going to live, right? Right? I'm not going to beat someone who's going to match my energy and make me grow. And so you get to a place where you're really, really, really depressed, because it's like, what to do? What am I going to do? Okay. But that shaker that's inside your life, that is making your life a misery, what you guys are going to have to do is eject that and use your powers of manifestation to attract the 0.001%, which means that you might have to get out of your house. This is coming from somebody who hasn't been out of his house for a little while. But I have an excuse. There's a whole bunch of snow on the ground, so I have an excuse, right? So
all year, apparently all year.
not that season, okay? All right, so yeah, I think that's go ahead.
Guys, so would a mover fall in love with a shaker, but then the mover becomes a Quaker from being in that relationship?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There are a whole bunch of you see, when you have this spiritual broken relationship where you meet somebody spiritual, you date that person and realize that person is actually quite mental, crazy. You want to know, there's a whole bunch of the spiritual community, and I'm not going to point out anything, but if it rings true for you, it rings true for you, who become mercenary in their relationships with people, right? So you're not going to meet somebody to match your stuff. So you just use people in parts. Okay? All right? I need physical intimacy. I'm going to get that person. Right? Okay? Right? I need somebody to talk to for 5 minutes. Oh, I'm going to go talk to this next person. Y'all start segmenting people. Tell me that I'm wrong.
You're definitely not wrong.
Yes, that's segmenting people.
Sometimes though, it's your soul's choice or your karmic path to choose a shaker as a partner, right? Because it pushes you out of your comfort zone.
Agreed.
And then because otherwise, so you could be the empath, and it's like when you were talking in the beginning, I was thinking, so some people would want to go in and try and heal that shaker to bring them up to their vibration. I can love them better. Yeah, we've all heard that, haven't we? They'll change because of me. I love them that much, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And when you realize, I'm speaking from experience here, and when you realize that
it doesn't shine through at all. Not at all. It doesn't shine through.
When you actually work out after quite a few years that isn't possible, then things can go badly wrong and you feel very unhappy. And then after a few more years, when you've worked a bit more out and you leave that relationship, you have a degree of gratitude for that happening, which is where we were talking about earlier. Nothing is always what it seems, because your soul has a bigger plan for you. And you look back and you think, thank you, because without you being such a shit, I wouldn't have grown.
Yeah.
And you do.
Hi, ex-boyfriend. Hi, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because if he wasn't such a narcissistic shit, I wouldn't be where I am today. Thank you so much.
I don't actually do that, David. I did not. That is not an imitation of me, but I would thank the universe, because I grew incredibly from that, as many people do, from having a shaker in their life, whether they're for good or bad. Ultimately, they're to make you grow.
But then after that growth, there comes a state where you're going to find a dharmic relationship, where you're not going to go into the karmic anymore, and you're actually choosing someone innately for them being a great person. And that's a different level of love. I've not had that yet, but
no, I'm looking too, Dale.
The dharmic fishing rod.
Yes.
We didn't speak about the Quakers. So a Quaker is someone who is so frightened of their own power. They're frightened of being seen. They're frightened of being of creating something new. They're frightened of people. They stay in a little corner. They have something to say, but they're not going to say it, right? A Quaker is that girl that you take out on a date and she doesn't say anything. Right?
Come on, you knew you'd put it in there somewhere, Amy.
But generally speaking, you put people underneath the floorboard. There are people who are Quakers, and a Quakers. The benefit of a Quaker is that the only way is up. There's no way down. You could only increase and become like, I don't know, the hot, sexy Biggs after that, right? Right. So I'm paraphrasing some phrases that I heard this week, right? Oh God. So when you are Quaker, the only way is up. So that's the benefit that they have. They can accelerate. But even the Quakers, listen, I read a meme from an African leader. It says, everyone is useful. It doesn't matter who you are. Okay? Right? It doesn't matter how useless you are. If you are completely useless, you could be used as a bad example. Okay? So you're still useful. So a Quaker has usefulness, because what happens in Quaker time, because let's say you have family members. A lot of you guys have family members, right, who are complete Quakers. And when you look at them and where they are 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line, you begin to realize, oh shit, I really don't want to be like you. Let me work a little bit harder. Sorry, it actually does work that way, and you'll know it. Right? Because you can see the trajectory of a Quaker and decide that you're not doing that. Right? Especially when you have it endemic in you to become a better person, a mover or a shaker, as the case may be.
David, I've got a question for you. So what about finding a mover? What are some of the things? So those out there looking for love, don't fall in love with a shaker. Let's talk about some of the things that you can look out for as warning signs.
Of a shaker?
Of a Quaker, sorry.
A Quaker?
Quaker,
Boots. The boots
In
give it away.
business, if this is a business question, if this is a business question, I just want to say, if you are a mover, do not try to make a Quaker move, okay? Unless you have a lot of energy and time, okay? Wait until that Quaker. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous. A Quaker has to realize that they're a Quaker before they're going to move. It's as simple as that, right? But if somebody is solid in the Quaker, leave them alone. So a Quaker is the person that will say that they're going to do something over and over again, but it never gets done. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
It never gets done. So let's say Quakers are notorious for moving slowly, very slowly. Okay? A Quaker will say, oh, I really have to write that email, but I'll write it in 2 weeks. Okay? When you see these people are frightened, and whenever it comes to crux point, when you have to do something, when you have to take the leap over the fence, right? They don't show up. They don't show up. You have to show up, right? Because the thing about a Quaker, we've all been Quakers, all of us, every one of us in this show at some point in time in our life. You think we came on the show, the first time you had to do a show, it's like, is this a good idea? How can I do that? Is this a good idea? Thinking about it, right? But here we are with a whole bunch of people who are watching us, and we don't care. We're having a party, and we don't care. Okay?
Mhm.
And that makes a difference. That makes a difference. That's how you move from one place to another. So a Quaker has to decide to move. But when you see a Quaker is the person that does not show up when they need to show up. And if you see that 3 times, you leave that Quaker alone. Okay? Leave the Quaker alone. Having said that, Quakers are also, the bad part of the Quakers is that they're notoriously malleable to shakers. So a shaker would be like, I'm starting a Me Too movement, and all the Quakers pile on because they have no direction of their own, no mind, no mind.
Mhm.
Okay, no mind. And critical thinking is lost on a Quaker. So let's say somebody decides that they're building this little army and stuff like that. The difference between a mover and a shaker is that a mover will try to empower everybody that they come into contact with.
Mhm.
A shaker does not want to empower people. They just want to shake shit up.
Mhm.
Never a good. Okay. So the question is, how do you tell whether you're a mover, a shaker, or a Quaker? Well, let me give you all a little quiz. Shall we do a pop quiz? Suffrage.
Yes, please.
Have you done something new and inventive in the last 6 months? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 That's
Yeah.
number 1. So you're definitely not a Quaker. That's number 1. Okay? Have you tried to destroy anything in the last few months that somebody else built?
No. Someone's done it to me.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because movers don't have time to be destroying things. Okay? So, and the last thing is, have you done anything that required you to move past yourself in the last, when I say move past yourself, conquer fear, conquer confidence issues, conquer yourself. I don't care whether it's like an extra 10 minutes on a treadmill. Have you done something that has required you to move past yourself in the last year? And I mean integrally, right? Integrally. I don't mean something like I'm about to die if I do this, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I can speak for the people on the panel because I know you guys, and I like. And Andrew, I don't know about Andrew, but I'm notorious for throwing people off a cliff when it is that I actually like them, right? So that's neither here nor there. So I can speak for the people on the panel. Well, let me tell you, if you haven't done these things, then you're a Quaker. You absolutely are a Quaker. If you have a bunch of plans and you're not doing them, you're a Quaker. Okay? And if you are empowering people, you're a mover. Okay? And if you're just doing random shit for you're not quite sure why, you're just doing shit, you just feel the need. All of a sudden the planets aligned, you know, Mercury went behind like Saturn or some shit like that, and you're like, no, today I'm going to start a political party or some shit like that. You are definitely a shaker.
What about a monk who doesn't go out, just meditates in a room?
What do you mean?
Well, he's none of those, is he?
Yeah, what type is he? A monk who just meditates in the room, doesn't go out, just meditates.
He might be a complete mover for himself, right? Inside his head. But none of us will ever partake in it. He's not empowering shit. Okay? What is that monk thinking about? You look suspicious. Right? He might be a shaker, you don't know. Let's get rid of him. Okay. You know, these are the kinds of things. Speaking about movers, we have a mover. Actually, Joel, I think this is the kind of time where I show people what a mover does. So the last show we had, I was speaking about creating the musical AI because we have the webinar today, right after the show. I'm going to be dead by the end of the day, I'm sure, right? But today, after we spoke about this musical AI that we are creating, a member of our audience sent me something independently of me asking for anything. We're not even ready yet for this thing. But Jason Plum, who's in the audience right now, Jason, my man, you're going places. You're going places. Okay? I want to thank you, first of all. All right. I want to thank you, first of all, for sending us this stuff. If we could get Jason inside the show, he's somewhere in the audience. I want him to hear his work. He just sent me something, and I want you guys to hear it because we're pimping out these shows and so on. Whenever you get Jason on, we're gonna roll this. But I'm gonna roll you what he sent me. I did some augmentation to your music because he sent me a track. I did some augmentation. I stole your Facebook pic, by the way, and I created something for you to hear. So, Jason, back at you. Is he hearing that?
Yeah.
There's a star cloaked in dark gear, an ancient spell, met the hammers fell, and the night, it holds the echo of what was there, and now is gone. A crime on humanity. You hitched a ride, you stole and you lied. So the second law for you, a correspondence, the dream you wove, it forfeit your passage. There's a void you can't call home. Remember you missed me while you atone the void you can call home. Remember that you miss me when you are alone. The farce, it was incomplete. The law of one, it cannot be undone. And knowingness is now yours to bear. Causalities abounding, as I am sure you are aware. So in your birthday suit, you take a walk on down your illustrious woven carpet to oblivion. To the void you can call home. Remember you miss me when you atone. In the void you can call home. Remember that you miss me when you are alone. One question I have left, I ask half in jest. How came you here? And what was your purpose for an everlasting being? A sovereign born earth seed. And was it worth eternity in the void of your own misgivings? Well, I saw you and I waved at you while I was sitting in my armchair up on Jupiter. I saw you from on top the veils. I saw you with my sisters blue. We waved at you farewell. I saw you and I waved at you while I was sitting in my armchair on Jupiter.
What
Wow. Woo.
Yes.
Yay.
Smart tune about it was a revocation and an invocation of sovereign energies opposed against what has been and is.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Ooh, yay, Jason.
Listen, don't thank us yet because I have the second version that you sent me. That's also playing on this show. So, because that would be what we call a mover initiative. He sent me the song and I threw it back at him. Okay. Because he intends to move forward on a number of things. Guys, we want to make a few mention of people who are doing things in the community. Who else is doing things in the community?
Sean Bibby.
Sean Bibby opened his practice a couple of months ago. This man is on his seventh, eighth client right now. He took the plunge and he's moving forward, right? I don't have to talk about you.
Amy.
What?
Yeah, Amy
What?
is.
Oh. Mover. I was a Quakers. I was a Quaker.
Now you're moving
I'll
stuff.
back you back.
Oh, I'm moving shit.
You're definitely moving.
John Bailey,
Yeah.
Jason Plum and stuff like that. He's like, he sent us this track, and I was like, that's heavenly.
Mm.
Yeah.
I went to his Facebook page, stole his picture, and falling, and like, yeah. So, you guys like what you saw?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, fun.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
We were just saying he reminds me of the guy of Yellowstone, the guitar player.
Yeah, that's true.
He looks,
Absolutely.
he could literally be his stunt double there.
Yeah.
Wow, that was cool. That was beautiful. Really nice.
Mm.
Let us know what you think in the chat as well, everyone. What did you think
Yeah.
of that?
We have other people who sent us music. I just said, like, so I'm gonna call out Jason.
Yeah.
Hey, here he is.
There it is. Woo!
How are you?
Hey,
Hey.
everybody. That was really special, man. Thank you. That
You're
was
welcome,
nice.
Jason.
That was
No,
nice.
that was
I
really.
haven't.
We should. That's our line. We should be saying that to you. Those that listen. When I first said that, I'm like, yeah, no, Andrew has to hear this. Let me send it. I was sending it to people. I was like, what the hell, right? And then we're like, I just like, you working on this? I'm like, yeah, I'm working on this. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that Facebook picture in a long time. I have to get back on. That was nice to just pick that one. I was like, oh, that's me. That was really cool. I kept thinking of David as I gave you a new title, David Rick Rubellis, like Rick
Mhm.
Rubin Ellis. He
Rick
was like
Rubin.
he was my producer. I was like, what about this track? Is this?
Yeah.
So I did
That
all
was
the
a-
track you gave me. I did different versions of the track. You're about. We're gonna play the second version, which sounds more like a light version, low reverb, like an outro. And
Nice.
so I'm going to let you hear that. So if you stay tuned, what were you thinking when you made that song? I want the backstory.
Mm-hmm.
The backstory, it honestly was a revocation of sorts, because it was it's I'm sorry, I'm at the gas pump. I'm dealing with people in the background.
Sure, no
It
problem.
was it was from watching our community and our friends, and the call to it was right around like a cursing. Remember when there was like cursing revocations recommended to do in the community, and Andrew
Yeah.
had fun with people, and then people would come on. I didn't feel like cursing. I kind of felt like being affectionate, but also firm. And I think telling the forces of domination and control that, you know, from everyone involved, that there's a void, you know, that you can call home, because I'm not in affiliation with with that. So I just wanted to call him out and just playfully be like, hey, I see you. And then, by the way, you know, you missed me after all, like in dodgeball, like the backstory, like, oh, you missed, by the way. And remember that you missed my signature frequency when you have the opportunity to basically own your side of it and work together in the law of one. And but now here you are, you know, you got other universal laws that you have to balance out.
We love, honestly, I love the lyrics. I love the tune. I love everything about it. Right? That song is powerful. And thank you for letting us broadcast that song, because a whole bunch of people needed to hear that song, including us.
A question for you, Jason. When's the next song coming out?
I just delved in, because I do a lot of like recording. I just delved into some of my past recordings, and there's another song coming up soon, especially now that David has hit the ping pong ball back to me with such like skill and intent. Now I'm like, oh well, shit, you know, let me get something else out.
He does that to people.
Yeah, right.
He does that.
You put it back on the table right
It's
in
definitely a
front of
mover.
me. It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Dale,
So
my friend, I'll churn something up. This
Yes,
one
brother.
might be a little darker though.
Yeah.
Working on one called the Quickening.
oh yes,
Quickening, yes,
Mm.
yeah.
oh
Well,
yeah,
I'll send it away.
yeah. I'll be here. I'm good. I'm good. We're going and we will promote that song
David's in
to
the
the
line.
nth degree. We will promote that song everywhere because that is talent right there. I wanted to do a call out to people in the chat. Klaus, you hearing that
Oh,
song?
Klaus.
Klaus, are you
Mhm.
hearing it? I know you're
I could-
somewhere.
He is
Yeah.
in there.
I could
Yes.
use
You guys
Klaus.
hearing me?
I could use Klaus's
Collaboration.
support. Yeah, Klaus's guitar
Collaborate.
play. Definitely. I thought of Klaus. You know, when he was on the show, I was like, wow, your guitar
Yeah.
is beautiful, man. I'd like to even
Yeah.
collaborate and sing with you. So
Who is that?
Who is
that's Ripley.
Is the name Ripley?
That's Ripley.
Ripley.
That's not. She's named after Sigourney Weaver. So she's
How
kind
do
of a
you spell
badass.
that?
What's that?
Is it Ripley as in Riply?
ELY. Ripley.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the name of a famous ice cream place around here, like the most famous ice cream spot in England.
Isn't that ironic?
Had to be.
That's what I'm
Had to
saying
be.
when you said that. I was like,
Let me see the ironies. You named your dog after the actor that fought the alien. All right, literally fought the alien. Ripley's, believe it or not, really. Right?
Yeah, Ripley's. That's what
Right. And it's the ice cream store sitting on the ice cream man's lap.
Correct.
Right. Because I'm the ice cream
It
guy.
looks like a vanilla, and she looks like a vanilla.
vanilla.
It's like, yeah.
Do you play music in your ice cream shop? Because if you do, you should play yours.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you. I usually let the kids play whatever they want to play. They're pumping their, old what is the boy bands? They love the boy bands. Even still today.
NSYNC, Backstreet
Yes.
Boys, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they love it. They love
Jason,
it.
you could involve it into the marketing where you could be like, add an extra flake or a bit of extra stuff onto it in the song. Program them so they add extras to the buy.
Right.
I could put an ice cream dispensing machine in the album art, right? Because I was going to make an AI generated video for you as well, right? But that is very, very good stuff. Very good stuff. And
Beautiful.
we really appreciate that.
Yeah, I when the video was away, I saw you putting like this female warrior, and she's riding along, and there's words going on underneath. I was like, he's gonna do something like wild with this. I was like,
I'm still doing wild stuff with your songs. All right. I'm still actually doing something wild. So if you have another one in there, send it my way and we will promote it. For those of you who are in the chat, I want y'all to listen to the sound and send people, if you're in the New Jersey area, send people to his ice cream store. Tell us everything about that. Tell us about your business. Where is it? Tell us.
I have an ice cream store in Summers Point, New Jersey, and it is right on the main road, right off of the Parkway. So anywhere coming from the north of New Jersey, you can get right off on exit 30 and basically land at my ice cream store and at ARC, which is soon to be announced.
So I'm going to call it. Jason is not a Quaker and he's not a shaker. The man is a mover. Okay? We're going to call it. All right? We're going to call you a mover. Which is kind of funny. In the ice cream, considering you're the gas pump in the car. All right? He's moving places. So there is that. Guys, I want to ask you all of you a question because all of you have something coming out. And I have been experimenting with Amy's voice. the only reason your voice is not on this is because I haven't asked you first.
Oh.
Because Amy has a voice. She does, apparently.
She's gonna sing now. Go on, Amy.
No. I don't have a singing voice. I do not have a singing voice.
No, but she has a voice, and those of us in the chat has heard it. So, guys, if you have talent and you are out there and you feel, right, that this is something that you need to move, because no point in quaking with a bunch of talent underneath the floorboards, right? Sing it out. Right, draw it
Now
out.
is the time. Now is the time, isn't it, David? If not now, when?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Right. Bring that talent out. We will promote it on the shows. Okay. We have another lady who sent us another musical talent. I want to probably connect all these creative people in the community together. Like Klaus, your skill is undeniable. Okay.
Yeah.
Jason, your skill is undeniable. Nobody out here going to say, "Oh, I didn't like what I heard." Everybody in the chat is like, "What the hell?" Like,
there will be a Quaker out there, or he's going, "I don't like anything." This song reminds me of
saying
I'm not going to connect to it.
They might be saying, "I'd like to be like that. I just haven't got the courage."
Yeah.
I'm frozen in paralysis.
Think of this, guys. Jason singing that to loads of Quakers, like maybe 100 Quakers, and seeing the reaction. They're all sat down.
Yeah.
That would because the song itself is about moving and moving, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Is this new to you, Jason? Are you new at this, or have you always played with, music and singing?
I've always dabbled in guitar, and I've always wanted to sing and like express myself. I've was very inspired by a few like artists. Something about using the voice like that and getting it out there has always been really satisfying. So when I had more like thoughtfulness, like a revocation style intent, or writing, you write a breakup song and then you sing it a couple times and it's like, oh wow, I feel more. I just created a feeling path for myself. You move things out of the way, as the topic is. You actually move things out of your way with your voice.
Yeah.
Light sound technology. We all know how it goes.
Yeah. I love that.
Thank you so much for sharing me. This is kind of like a dream come true. This has kind of been a dream come true, hanging out with you guys. So
we're going to be hanging out a lot more this next year, but that's something that's coming up, right? Either which way, a lot of us are going to be meeting in person next year. Like
we're going to be moving, David.
What?
We're going to be moving.
Yes, we are moving a lot of stuff next year, which is the next thing that we have coming up. We're going to make a few announcements as well, right? But really, Jason, we should be thanking you. If you have a song in there, send it to us, and we will be happy to promote it everywhere, anywhere that anybody needs to hear that. Because saying a revocation is one thing, hearing it is another. And music is one of the ways that you could get Quakers to move.
Wow.
When you sing to what's inside. So for those of you who are quaking, listen to what this man has told you, right? Revoke whatever agreements you have made to your own limitations. Revoke them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. So
beautiful show.
No problem. All right. So what do you think about, do you have any Quakers in your life, Jason? Because I saw your comment earlier on. I pay attention to everything.
I know you do. I know you do.
David doesn't just look, he looks through to the other side. And
keeps looking.
Right.
He misses nothing.
Tell us about your experience. With Quakers, it's wow. Yes, I do. Especially there's a dream project in the works, And when you come from a secure, well-established business mindset where you're still working with your family, new ideas don't tend to go over so well. And certain people who have, certain financial stresses or certain organizational or certain pressures as part of the family, you have to be able to, field the Quakers like responses. So with the future project, it's like, oh, how's that gonna like? You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do. So there's Shakers and there's Quakers like right now. And as I'm moving, I'm noticing that it's shaking up, and it's and there's some quaking going on, and it's challenging. This is a very poignant show, perfect show.
Connection there, Jason. When you said that, it made me think about the programs we have. Say the mover is moving, and the Quaker program is there in the background, and it's about out creating that Quaker program and shattering it into 1,000 pieces. And that's something I've gone through, like doing shows like this, meeting incredible people like you guys, working alongside everyone. My programs and all those Quaker programs I had to literally see them and start saying, no, I'm not giving you power anymore. And that's a good topic going into that. There's Quakers, people with programs, just inner Quakers there with the mover there. So that's maybe something we can go into as well. That's really, it made me think of that when you're talking about that, Jason. Really.
Yeah.
The thing about people, and I'm going to use a musical reference. Pink Floyd had a song called "Comfortably Numb." Okay, people get into a comfort curve where they feel safe. Okay, so in the case of your family members or whatever who may be in business and stuff like that, an idea takes them out of the comfort curve. Okay, okay, but nothing good, no new ideas, no new benefits ever came from you being afraid. Sometimes you have to step off that cliff or be thrown off the cliff. Okay? Sometimes, right? Sometimes listen, a lot of people generally tend to like to stay within this comfort curve. And so how do you communicate that movement is necessary? How do you communicate that movement is necessary?
That is therein lies the rub. So it's a lot like when you're doing dance and you're a dance like teacher, or you're in a relationship. There's a certain amount of leading that must be done, but you can't just whip people around. There's a gentle like guidance by being assertive, by moving, and being a certain kind of intentional. You can create a dance and you can create movement even with people who want to be stubborn, or if they want to have two left feet, and quake. You can inspire them just by giving like that assertion, that right move in the right way. So that's kind of, I'm relying on my physical to, I know what, when I'm stepping on people's toes, I'm just going to do this and you're going to like it. You can't just move over. You can't roll over people because you're moving. There's a certain grace that you want to embody.
Yeah. Etiquette.
Right? Yeah. Etiquette.
Yeah.
Grace. So
yes, especially because the thing about and you're correct on that. You're correct in that assumption. There are a lot of people who don't move because it moves too fast. Okay, and I should probably say that different classes within each one of them. Movers tend to be type A personalities, like think, execute, right? When you get that, where the thought and the execution of the thought become like synonymous in action. Okay, you're dealing with a type A personality. Okay, and so when type A personality, they want to move things, and they want to move things yesterday. Okay, it makes them impatient, so they need people to interface with. Okay, because I do remember dealing with people, if you're in a corporate environment, let's say a business environment, sometimes you got to move fast. Okay. I mean, really, really fast. And if you are dealing with clients, as an example, and you're a therapist, sometimes getting them from point A to B will be a lot slower. It will be snail space for you, right? But that first step for the client may be like jumping over the Grand Canyon. Okay? And so there's a certain amount of reasonableness that has to be taken into consideration. So as an example, if it was that, for those of you who are on the panel here, Andrew, whatever, came to you and said, yeah, so we're doing a live show in front of 1 million people at the Sydney Opera, right? You'd be like, yeah, no, that's not happening, right? And so, and so some people need to take baby steps, which is something that a lot of people miss the mark on when you're a mover. Okay, empowering people comes with a little bit of responsibility as to where they're at, and you got to meet people where they're at. Absolutely.
I'm
So-
going to say to that, can I say to that with the baby steps is because I was somebody who did the baby steps. But when you came in and did that, it's like no more baby steps. Okay, I'm just jumping in. It's that trust, because I think because of those baby steps that I knew that didn't help me at all. And just jumping right in, it was that trust.
Yep, but you
And
had to
it
take steps first to gain that.
I
gain
did.
that. Yeah,
I
you
did. And I had
That's
to
probably
yeah.
probably what you needed at the time, though, Amy.
I did. I did. I agree with that. But it was that jump in. Okay, let's just do it. Okay, let's just do it. All right. Okay, let's go. And it's almost overwhelming, but not. Does that make sense? Like I knew how to deal with that overwhelmingness where I didn't know how to do that before.
Mm-hmm.
All that energy coming in, all that streaming in. But
It also helps the people. I keep telling people on the show over and over again, surround yourself with people that encourage growth.
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat this 1 million times. Surround yourself with people that encourage growth. Okay? If you're a Quaker and you're in a little Quaker community, literally and figuratively, right? If you're a Quaker and you're in a Quaker community, you are in something called an echo chamber, right? They're going to be reflecting the parts of you that are limitations. So let's say you're in a Quaker community. Let's say you're in some group or whatever the case may be, and the group says, you can't do this, you can't be seen here, you can't do this, and so on. And everybody kind of agrees, right? And everybody just kind of agrees. They're reflecting your limitations. Y'all make agreements inside, you make agreements inside yourself that you are limited, and you make agreements external to yourself that you are limited. Okay? And that is the purpose of revocations, like what Jason just did. Revoke these agreements, right? Choose to be exceptional, because a lot of people have a bunch of DNA running. This is how I look at people. There's a whole bunch of DNA running around the planet that hasn't been unlocked to its full potential. Okay? Okay? So if you are the owner of DNA, for those of you who are listening to this broadcast, if you are the owner of DNA, you can choose to leave it dormant for the whole life, or you could choose to unlock it and unlock the possibilities that there are inside. Okay? Having said that, I have to give the disclaimer. It might lead you to a life stuck inside your house playing with your Lucia light. I saw comments earlier on. Right? Trying to figure out what can I unlock next.
Until
Right?
David, until a mover comes along and moves you out of the flat. Or enough movers encourage you to come to the UK.
What are the possibilities?
He doesn't need me. He's got destiny. It's fine.
He
I
can bring
sent that email out too. I have an announcement to make. For those of you, I sent an email out, or rather, my automated system sent an email out. The webinar is today. It's not the 27th. I don't have a time machine. We're not going back in August. It's today. at 4 p.m. EST. Okay? Yes.
Right on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy that we're on this show and we're talking about stuff, our own limitations, the things that we had to break past and so on. Right. I really want to ask you, Jason, like when you were doing this music and so on, what made you decide to pick up a guitar? What made you decide to do something?
Before sending
Before,
the song to you, or in my life?
no, I mean like you saw a guitar and you thought, oh, that's a good idea. Let me pick it up and start strumming. What? Tell me the backstory. How did you decide to use music as part of your process?
I'm going back, and I remember being on the bus and singing, like being on the school bus and singing aloud, singing songs like "Lean on Me" with my friend sitting on the bus, and having that. I wasn't big on music, although I did go to some church, but the like certain songs would move me like deeply, and I kind of wanted to be in that creation, so I would sing. And I'd sing at home, and I'd sing Michael Jackson, and I'd sing, things that I could to try to, be a part of that. And I think that's what I want to, be in that vibration so much that it becomes like more real. I know I'm speaking simply, but I'm trying to answer the question as best I can at the moment. But,
I know, I understand. Right. On the concept of moving and shaking, Dale, you have something coming out next month that you are being silent about.
Yes, I do.
Right.
Sorry, I had about 4 hours
How are
sleep
you being
last night.
silent?
My brain is like trying to engage today. So up and coming, I have the psychic surgery training. So if you'd like to learn the skill of psychic surgery, what it takes to be a practitioner, and start learning the mastership of being an energy healer, how to scan yourself properly, how to remove stuff, how to add stuff, how to send treatments forwards in time, backwards in time, sending treatments to other people. I'm doing the psychic surgery training on the 17th and 18th of November. It will be 6 till 9 p.m. UK time. So I invite you to join me on that. Also, for signing up, you get a half an hour session with me. So pre-psychic surgery training, you'll have a one-to-one private session with me as well. So if you'd like to elevate your journey and learn the road of psychic surgery, soul retrieval, and working with the grandmothers, giving you the roadmap back to the ancestors. Thank you.
Yeah, we also have January coming up for those of you who want to sign up. The Combined Healing Therapy site is just missing an SSL, but it will be live really, really, really soon. Scan the barcode as well,
Sure.
right?
Do we know which barcodes? There's two. Which one's which? Which one's this?
I think, okay, there's a light language course that is also coming out. That's already ready, I think. Is it ready, isn't it? So it we might have just sent you to the wrong destination.
So we have a new light language product out on andrewbartzis.com. There's two parts to the product as well. So if you're wanting to learn elevation through all of us doing light language and taking you on some special journeys, it's an incredible price as well for what it is. So if you want to scan, and if you get the second product together, you receive a discount on the first product as well. It's something we did a few months ago and something we're very proud of. And yeah, go ahead and take a look.
Yes, and you couldn't learn that from a nicer guy, right? A lot of things are happening. Laura's doing something new as well, right? Very soon, right? For those of you who haven't noticed, Laura is been in the background working on stuff. Tell us about it, Laura.
What am I working on? Well, there's always combined therapies, which is a continual thing we are expanding over here and in the US, I believe. And the lovely Amy is coming over in January, which is fantastic. And we are also doing some training. And Andrew and I have we've just been looking at how we can do like a Reiki type energy residential course that includes all his teachings. I found somewhere that is a beautiful place in the countryside over in the UK. And we can take up to about 14 delegates and do 3 or even 5 days intensive training where you stay. It's like a private hotel. So you can stay there. They provide all the meals and the snacks and so on. And there's beautiful grounds. So that's something Andrew and I have just recently started to look at. What else is going on? Yeah, so I'm working a bit more closely with David and UCM to put myself out as more of a using my self-empowering techniques, putting myself out more as a what would you describe it as, David? What we were
There are a lot
looking
of
at.
women that need healing, and this lady is the empowerment coach for them, because you can go to lots of empowerment coaches, but the only ones that are going to be able to move you, that word crops up again, are the ones that have had to actually move themselves. Okay? Lots of people take coaching certifications. I'm a coach. You call yourself a coach.
Yeah.
If you are somebody who grew up with a silver spoon and never had to move shit, don't try to move other people's shit, no matter how. Okay?
Can I just quickly get in there? This purple one is the light language product, so I'm going to leave it up there for a few seconds. Scan away. Just so there's 2 going in, just to clarify.
And the green one is the other one, right? The psychic surgery?
Yes. And the green one, which I'm going to put on in just a second, is for the psychic surgery, which will take you to my homepage, my event page, where you'll see all the description of psychic surgery. There we go.
May I comment on
Sure.
something in the way of the show? The one of the key ingredients to being a mover is courage, and as we talk about it, courage is it's not mystical. So having signed up for Dale's psychic surgery first course, that was a pivotal time. Ironically, you know, I found Dale almost like through Amy, and I actually discovered Dale like through Amy way back then. But that's an aside. But that has deepened my experience, and then getting to spend time with Laura in Scotland, like making the courageous choice, like to go to Scotland and then walk around and spend time and share time, and have these like healing modalities present for you, was it's incredibly empowering as a mover who was a mover but now is a better mover. Use that courage. Use that courage. I'm so proud of you, Amy, that you're going over. It's life changing.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
I noticed that you left me out of the January announcement. Like, David is not going to be there in January. I am going to be there in January. What the hell, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. We have the man himself, the beautiful David Ellis, is going to be joining us in England as well. So if you want to head over to, we've basically got the Combined Therapy website almost up, David, is it? It's going to be up tomorrow. Well, when perhaps will it be up? David's our man with us.
Soon.
It'll be up soon. Keep an eye out. But we've got some January dates. I think we've got a few positions. So from the 15th of January, I think we've got maybe 3 spaces left. Was it, Laura?
One for the 15th, but we can do some that week. I think we've got 2 spaces we could do for the rest of the week. So we can do any number of days that you want to, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the following week is a training week. But the following week is going to start on the Tuesday, isn't it? So we can actually take people then as well. So we'll be in York for 2 to 3 weeks.
And the man himself will be here, David Ellis. You'll be able to go.
Yeah, and Andrew. Andrew, obviously. Yeah, Andrew will be over as well.
Yeah, myself, Laura. So yeah,
And some
we look
new
forward-
equipment, I think, as well.
Yes.
Oh yes, I'm bringing some
Yeah.
stuff. I'm bringing stuff from the lab because right.
Ooh.
I am opening Unified Health Systems CA, which is basically the combined healing systems for Canada. There are two people I'm highlighting myself, but I'm also highlighting Sean Bibby, who has opened his clinic. He's doing elements of combined therapy. So if you're in Toronto, check him out. I forgot Sean's stuff as well. Talking about movers and stuff. It's like a digestive problem, you know. The movers will be regular to the bathroom. The Quakers will be suffering from indigestion. And the Quakers constipation is a feature. Move that energy. Move it. Right? So don't get backed up. Do something different. And if you guys want to do something different, reach out to one of us. Okay, or be in that webinar today. Let me tell you why you should be in that webinar today, just so that we're clear. You should be in that webinar today because constipation, not a good thing. Okay. We will add some fiber to your diet. That's the first thing. The second thing is we are going to give you guys empowering tools. And when I say empowering tools, I don't mean something that you're just going to use or as an aside. We're giving you guys empowering tools. Listen to what I just said. We are giving you guys empowering tools to do with what you will. We are not trying to make slaves of you guys like corporate. We are giving you guys empowering tools. Jason, you don't get a choice. I'm sending you a link to some of those empowering tools. Okay? Right? Whether you're there or not, I'll hunt you down. Okay? Right? Right? One of the tools that we're giving away, you're going to need for your music. So be there for the creative people in the community. Klaus, you don't get a choice either. I'm sending you a link. Right? For the creative people in the community that I know your skill level, we're sending you these things specifically because we need to remind y'all that y'all are supposed to be movers, right? There are no leaders and followers here. We are all leaders. We good? Everybody good?
Yes. Beautiful said. Well said, David. And what a great way. I think we should wrap up the show now, guys. What an incredible show. And thank you, David, for the idea of doing this. It was really fun. So, Laura, how can people get a hold of you for sessions or anything like that?
Okay, just email me at laura2feathers@gmail.com or through twofeathersmedicine.com website, and very soon we'll have the combinedhealingtherapies.com website up, so you can contact me through there for coming to York, or if you really want to book now, then just email me for York before the website's up. So thanks for a great show, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Amy, are you going to give us a little song before you
a little song?
Goodbye. Goodbye song.
Goodbye. Okay, so yes, I have a show called Unscripted, and all of you have been on it already, and it's a show where 20 minutes, come on, you're my guest, I ask you a question and we chat about it. Very, very just fun and easy. So if you would like to get a hold of me, you can message me on Facebook or Pink Moon Lodge podcast at gmail.com. Thank you for a great show.
Thank you, Amy. And Jason, any last words, brother?
I have an email if anybody wants to collab, like Klaus or anyone out there wants to shoot me an email at jasplum@gmail.com at Gmail.
Jason, what I'd probably do is comment in the chat that after you've done it, put it in the YouTube chat. So if you want his email, go onto the YouTube chat and it'll be in there. Drop it in there.
Okay, yeah, I'll drop it in there.
And send it to us. Ask Joel to put it onto the actual link as well.
Okay, will do. Thank you all for the experience. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you,
David
I look
Ellis.
forward to more.
Oh,
How can people get hold of you?
okay. So you can get hold of me at info@unifiedhealthsystems.com. I'm going to be on that webinar today, and most likely in January. We're experimenting with new versions of the system. With I've created a hemisync for you guys to try.
Neat.
In case you wonder what a hemisync is, it's a hemisphere sync, right? All right.
Okay.
A hemisphere sync, and what that hemisphere sync is, I'm experimenting with Amy's voice on how to create that hemisphere sync. Amy, it's successful, so we're gonna try it out
Okay.
in January. Before we leave, I am going to play that song again for those of you who don't know. Enjoy.
There was a star cloaked in dark gear, an ancient spell meant the hammers fell in the night. It holds the echo of what was there and now is gone. A crime on humanity. You hitched a ride, you stole and you lied. So the second law for you, a correspondence. The dream you wove, it's forfeit your passage. There's a void you can call home. Remember you missed me while you atone in a void you can call home. Remember that you miss me when you are alone. See the farce, it was incomplete. The law of one, it cannot be undone. So unknowingness, it's now yours to bear. Causalities abounding, as I'm sure you are aware. So in your birthday suit, you take a walk on down your illustrious woven carpet to oblivion. Yeah, to the void you can call home. Remember you missed me while you atone in a void you can call home. Remember that you miss me while you are alone. One question I have left, I ask you half in jest, how came you here? And what was your purpose for an everlasting being? A sovereign born earth seed. And was it worthy eternity in the void? I saw you and I waved at you while I was sitting in my armchair up on Jupiter. Well, I saw you from on top the veils. I saw you with my sister's blue. We waved at you farewell. I saw you and I waved at you while I was sitting in my armchair on Jupiter.
Oh,
Excellent, guys. See you guys next week.
bye.
Move us out. Move us out.
Move us.
Now,